"This proves you're not truly committed to our mission," Miss Ana Carvalho said, her voice sharp as steel, leaning back in her leather chair, her tailored blazer glinting under the dim light of the Lisbon office. "My name is Tomás Almeida. At 27, I had poured the last 4 years into SolTech Innovations, a renewable energy startup in Portugal. I secured contracts worth millions of euros, yet my bank account was nearly empty. I still lived in a cramped flat in Alfama, drove the same battered Peugeot I bought as a university student, and battled daily with a gnawing stomach pain, a consequence of late nights, skipped meals, and relentless pressure from the leadership's empty promises that just a little more effort and you'll be rewarded. Ana, our director of business development, stared at me across her sleek glass desk, her gold bracelet flashing as she adjusted her glasses. Her confidence was the kind earned from lavish corporate retreats in the Algarve, not Lisbon's rainy days. She was waiting for me to beg or explode. "I understand," I said calmly, though my stomach twisted in pain, as if reminding me of the years I trusted their promises. Her lips twitched, surprised by my restraint. "Your employment is terminated, effective immediately. Sophia will escort you to HR to finalize your exit paperwork." I nodded, stood, and extended my hand across the desk. She hesitated before shaking it. "Thank you for the opportunity," I said, keeping my voice steady despite the stabbing pain in my gut. The walk to my desk was silent, the open-plan office buzzing with poorly disguised glances. News spreads like wildfire here. I grabbed a cardboard box from the supply closet, feeling every stare. 4 years at SolTech, and my belongings fit into a box no larger than a breadbasket. A ceramic mug from my brother, a few working pens, a small cactus I'd kept alive under fluorescent lights. I'd brought in 2 million euros in contracts last quarter alone, and they thought I'd steal a paperweight? Sophia hovered nearby, her keychain jangling, watching like I might smuggle company secrets. I ignored her, packed my things, and headed for the elevator. As I passed his office, João Mendes, my direct manager, stepped out. João, who'd taken credit for my biggest deals, who'd promised 5 times that my promotion and bonus were being processed, but always needed Ana's approval. He avoided my gaze. "Hand in your badge at security," he muttered, retreating behind his door. In the elevator, I held my badge, catching my reflection in the stainless steel doors. I didn't look defeated, though my stomach was tearing itself apart. I looked unburdened, like I'd shed a weight I hadn't noticed. I joined SolTech straight out of university, armed with an engineering degree and a knack for connecting with people. My mother always said, "A good engineer builds systems. A great one builds trust." She'd taught physics at a local secondary school for 25 years, missing my football matches but ensuring we always had enough. When I landed the SolTech job, she beamed with pride, calling it a company with a bright future. For the first 2 years, I believed her. I worked 70-hour weeks, mastered solar panel integration, and built relationships with clients across Portugal and Spain. I earned Rising Star my first year and Top Contributor the next. But I paid a steep price. Sleepless nights preparing proposals, rushed meals from vending machines, and constant pressure from João to just push a bit harder and you'll get that promotion. The stomach pain started in my second year, a burning sensation at first, but it grew into a daily gnawing ache. The doctor diagnosed stress-induced gastritis, prescribed medication, and urged rest. But I didn't rest. I believed Ana when she called me a valuable asset, and said I'd soon be rewarded. Then João was promoted over me, despite my contracts doubling his. "He has more leadership experience," they said. He took credit for the Ferreira deal, a client I'd nurtured for 8 months. He got a company Tesla, while I received no raise or bonus, despite my contract stipulating a 5% commission. When I asked, João cited budget constraints. and Anna said to wait for the salary restructuring. I swallowed my anger, took my stomach pills, and kept working. The slights piled up, emails I was left off, client updates arriving late, snide remarks in meetings. Are you sure that's the right strategy, Tomás? My stomach pain worsened, especially when I stayed up late preparing reports João would present as his own. Yet, I secured the Costa Energy contract. €2 million, SolTech's biggest deal of the year. I paid for 2 Madrid trips out of pocket, worked weekends, missed my brother's engagement party. When the contract was signed, Anna hosted a team dinner at a fancy Bairro Alto restaurant. I wasn't invited. I found out via a colleague's Instagram, my stomach burning like fire as I scrolled through their laughing photos. That night, I updated my CV for the first time in 4 years, my hands shaking from anger and pain. A week later, Clara Souza, a former SolTech client now at Verde Vivo, a sustainable agriculture firm, messaged me on LinkedIn. Let's talk, she wrote. We met at a Chiado cafe. She said Verde Vivo needed someone to lead their new partnerships division, someone with technical expertise and sales experience, someone like me. I took a vacation day to interview, though my stomach pain forced me to double my medication dose beforehand. Someone spotted me in Verde Vivo's lobby and told João. That was yesterday. I sat in my Peugeot in SolTech's car park for nearly an hour after security took my badge, the engine idling, staring at the concrete building where I'd sacrificed my health and dreams. 4 years of early mornings, late nights, and promises of your family, and we'll take care of you. My stomach pain reminded me of the cost of blind trust. My phone vibrated. A text from João. Sorry it ended like this, just protocol. I switched off my phone and drove home, each press of the accelerator twisting my gut. My flat felt eerily quiet when I walked in, like it was holding its breath. I set the box on the kitchen counter, grabbed a Sagres beer, knowing it would aggravate my stomach. I sank onto the sofa, doing nothing for the first time in years. No emails, no client calls, no reports. I watched the evening light filter through my window, casting shadows on the tiled floor, trying to ignore the pain clawing at me. At 8 p.m., I turned my phone back on. 3 missed calls from my mother. A text from my brother asking if I was okay. João had called him, an invasion I hadn't expected. And an email from Clara at Verde Vivo. Can you come in tomorrow, 9:30 a.m.? The team wants to meet you. I replied with one word. Yes. I called my mother. They did you a favor, she said after I recounted the day. Not what I'd expected. How so? They showed you their true colors, Tomás. No more guessing. Now you know who they are. She was right. All those times I'd rationalized their behavior, blamed myself for not pushing harder, for not playing their game. All those moments I swallowed my anger, popped stomach pills, and thought loyalty would pay off. I'd been sacked for taking one day, a day I'd earned, to seek what SolTech would never offer. Fairness, respect, health. Her voice softened. Need anything? Come over this weekend? No, I said, a clarity rising. I'm okay. This might be the best thing that's happened to me. And I meant it. Despite the stomach pain, I felt a spark of hope, something I'd forgotten long ago. I slept deeply that night, though the pain woke me a few times. In the morning, I wore my best suit, the one I'd bought for major client pitches Anna often hijacked. I took my stomach medication, looked in the mirror, sharp, rested, ready. The interview at Verde Vivo exceeded expectations. They'd contacted my references, including Costa Energy. They knew my worth. They offered me the role on the spot, head of strategic partnerships, with a salary double SolTech's and no bonuses, a transparent policy I'd never seen. I accepted without hesitation. When can you start? Clara asked. I smiled, though my stomach twinged. Tomorrow. I signed with Verde Vivo that Friday and started Monday. They gave me an office overlooking the Tagus River, a company laptop, a team of 3, and something SolTech never offered: trust. We want you to shape this division, Clara said. Your track record speaks for itself. The first month was a whirlwind. I learned Vertivivo's systems, bonded with my team, and drafted a plan to expand into Spain. I still took stomach medication daily, but here, I didn't skip meals or stay up late. I connected with former SolTech colleagues on LinkedIn. Most responded warmly. A few sent congratulations. Guo and Anna ignored me. I didn't care. I was building something real. Then the legal notice arrived. Mr. Almeida is in breach of his non-compete agreement, it read. He must cease employment with Vertivivo immediately or face legal action. I'd never signed a non-compete, I was certain. I called Vertivivo's legal team, my stomach flaring. Send us your SolTech onboarding documents, the lawyer Miguel said. We'll handle it. I scoured my files that night. Offer letter, contract, performance reviews. No mention of a non-compete. The next day, SolTech's lawyers produced a document with my signature, dated 2 years ago, post my Rising Star Award. It barred me from working for competitors within 150 kilometers for 18 months after leaving SolTech. The signature looked like mine, but I had no memory of it. Did you sign anything during a review? Something they called routine? Miguel asked. I thought back. 2 years ago, after my award, Anna handed me a stack of forms. Just standard updates, she'd said. Sign where flagged. I'd trusted her, despite stomach pain so bad I could barely focus. They're arguing Vertivivo is a competitor, Miguel continued. It's a weak claim. Agriculture tech isn't solar energy, but they're pushing hard. This could get messy. Will I lose my job? I asked, the stomach pain like a knife. Not if we can help it. But brace yourself. They might try to smear you. It felt like a personal attack. The next morning an email arrived from a major SolTech client. Got a call from João. He suggested you took confidential data when you left. I told him you were always professional. What's going on? I forwarded it to Miguel. Anger overpowering my stomach pain. They weren't just blocking my career, they were attacking my integrity, the very thing I'd sacrificed my health to build. That evening, my phone rang. An unknown number. Tomás, it's Ines from SolTech's finance team, she whispered. I shouldn't be calling, but you were always kind. They're saying you stole client data, but it's a lie. I saw Anna export your client database the day after you were fired. She wiped the originals and told IT you must have taken them. Will you tell my lawyer? I asked. I can't. I need this job. Just watch your back. She hung up. I stared out my window at Lisbon's twinkling lights, realizing this fight was bigger than a job. They wanted to destroy me. For the first time since my firing, I felt not just anger, but a burning resolve. The legal battle dragged on for months. Vertivivo backed me, but the stress worsened my stomach. I upped my medication, but the pain persisted. SolTech threw accusations, data theft, contract breaches, sabotage. They wanted to break me. We need leverage, Miguel said. The non-compete's likely forged, but proving it is costly. We need something solid. I remembered Ines's call. Then I thought of the bonuses, or lack thereof. The Costa Energy deal should have netted me a €40,000 bonus, per the 5% commission in my contract. My final paycheck had nothing extra, just my base salary. I'd questioned it, but João cited budget adjustments, and Anna said to wait for next quarter. I'd believed them. Despite stomach pain so bad I'd skip meetings to take pills. Check my bonus payments, I told Miguel. They've been stealing from me. That night, João texted, "Can we meet? Not about the lawsuit, it's urgent." Against my instincts, I met him at a quiet Belém cafe. He looked haggard, his usual polish gone. "This stays off the record," he said, eyes darting. I nodded, waiting. "The non-compete isn't just you. Anna's done this for years, slips clauses into routine paperwork. Signatures are real, but the documents aren't what people think." "Why tell me?" He stared at his coffee. You're not the first they've targeted, but you're the first to fight back. They're scared. Scared of what? The money. SolTech's bonus structure is a sham. The percentages in our contracts? Fake. Ana's been skimming bonuses for years, funneling the difference to an executive reserve. My mind flashed to every shorted bonus, every vague excuse. My stomach pain flared, as if punishing me for trusting them. How do you know? I asked. I saw her files. Was looking for a client report on her laptop during a meeting. Her spreadsheets were open, 2 sets of bonus calculations, the real ones, and what we got paid. You never spoke up? His face reddened. She offered me a cut, said it's how things work. I've got debts, Tomás. So you took it? He didn't answer. They're framing you for the Costa deal, saying you inflated numbers for a bigger bonus. The data theft claim is to cover their tracks. That's absurd. Costa can confirm the contract. They've backdated emails, tweaked records. They're good at this. I studied his face. Why should I trust you? You've never backed me. He pulled out his phone, showing screenshots, spreadsheets, emails, bank transfers. I kept proof. Send it to me. If I do, I'm done at SolTech. You're done either way, I said. Help me, or you're complicit. He forwarded the files, his hands shaking. Joao's evidence was a game changer. It exposed a bonus skimming scheme affecting dozens of SolTech employees, potentially millions of euros over years. This is fraud, Miguel said, but Joao won't testify. Without him, it's hearsay. I needed someone willing to speak. I thought of Diogo Costa, a top performer who'd left SolTech 2 years ago amid burnout rumors. I never bought it. Diogo was disciplined, a marathon runner, not the type to crack. I found him on LinkedIn, now at a Porto startup. I messaged, need to talk about Ana and SolTech bonuses. It's serious. He called within the hour. I knew someone would figure it out. We met in Lisbon. Diogo looked healthy but haunted. They fired me after I found their real books, he said. Not just bonuses. Expense fraud, vendor kickbacks, inflated project costs. Ana and the CFO were running a racket. You have proof? Everything. Emails, bank records, screenshots. I was preparing to go to the board when Ana got wind. Suddenly, I was unstable. A client claimed I botched a deal I never touched. 2 weeks later, I was out. Why not go public? They threatened my wife's business, nothing overt, just enough to scare me. But I kept everything on a secure drive. We reviewed his evidence for hours. It was airtight, implicating Ana, the CFO, and 3 other executives in a multi-year fraud. This is criminal, I said. We need to go to the authorities. I'm in, Diogo said, but we have to be careful. They're ruthless. I called Clara that night, my stomach so painful I had to sit. This could get ugly. Verde Vivo might want to back off. Back off? She laughed. We hired you for your integrity, Tomás. We're not just behind you. We're fighting with you. SolTech's been poisoning this industry too long. The case exploded. With Diogo's evidence and Verde Vivo's legal muscle, we filed with Portugal's Public Prosecutor's Office and the Insurance and Pension Funds Supervisory Authority. Subpoenas flew, witnesses were deposed, and former employees came forward. 5 weeks later, investigators raided SolTech's Lisbon office, carting off computers and files. Ana and the CFO were escorted out in front of staff, the footage spreading across social media. João called me that night, his voice panicked. They took everything. I'm suspended, facing charges. Cooperate, and you'll get leniency, I said, my stomach burning like it was being stabbed. A week later, SolTech dropped their lawsuit against me. Their stock plummeted as fraud allegations hit the news. Employees filed a class action suit for unpaid bonuses. Clients fled, calling SolTech toxic. I focused on Verde Vivo, building my division, though my stomach pain persisted. I declined press interviews, letting the courts handle the rest. Then Ana emailed from a personal account. Let's meet, I can explain. I forwarded it to Miguel, too angry to feel the pain. The next day, Jornal de Negocios ran a headline, SolTech executives resign amid fraud probe. Ana's photo accompanied a board statement promising full cooperation. 4 months after my firing, a court awarded me €72,000 in unpaid bonuses plus damages. The check arrived by courier. I left it on my desk for 2 days, not out of pride, but to remind myself of the cost of truth and the health I'd sacrificed. A year later, I stood before Vertivivo's team, presenting our quarterly results. We'd tripled revenue, entered the Italian and French markets, and built a transparent bonus system that drew talent from across Europe. 3 ex-SolTech colleagues joined us, freed by the class action settlement. My stomach pain had eased, thanks to a healthier work schedule and a new doctor's more effective medication. SolTech was history, acquired at a discount by a German firm. Ana and the CFO took plea deals. João avoided prison, but was unemployable in the industry. I rarely thought of them. Clara approached me after the presentation. The boards approved your promotion to vice president next quarter. I thanked her, unsurprised. We'd built something lasting. That night, I drove to my mother's house in Cascais. She'd followed the SolTech saga, sometimes more invested than I was. Over dinner, she said, "I'm proud of you, Tomás, not for winning, but for not letting them make you bitter." I nodded, gazing at the ocean beyond her garden. It was never about revenge. "I know," she said. "It was about truth." We sat quietly, the waves a gentle rhythm. She grinned. "Vice president, huh? Time for a new car?" I laughed. "The Peugeot's fine, it keeps me grounded." A few weeks later, as I stepped out of a Chiato cafe, holding a decaf coffee to spare my stomach, I unexpectedly ran into Ana. She stood on a street corner, looking worn, no longer wearing her expensive blazer or gold bracelet. Her frayed coat and disheveled hair made her seem like a stranger, but her eyes, still sharp though tired, confirmed it was her. She saw me, her lips tightening as if bracing for a confrontation. I stopped, a faint twinge in my stomach, but not from anger. I looked at her, the woman who'd once robbed me of opportunities, health, and trust. Yet now, I felt no resentment, only a gentle emptiness as if old wounds had healed, leaving scars but no pain. "Ana," I said, my voice even. "Are you okay?" She blinked, caught off guard. "Tomás, I didn't expect to see you." Her voice trembled, lacking its former confidence. "I know you must hate me, I have no excuses." I shook my head. "I don't hate you anymore, I've moved on." And I realized I meant it. Forgiveness wasn't for her, it was for me, to free myself from the burden of grudges. She looked down, clutching her tattered bag. "I'm trying to find work, but no one will hire me after all that. I can't even afford to fix my car to get to interviews." I studied her, a woman once at the pinnacle of power, now as vulnerable as anyone. I pulled out my wallet and took out €50, not much, but enough to help her through the day. "Take this," I said, handing her the money. "Get your car fixed. Good luck." She hesitated, her eyes welling up. "Why would you do this, after everything I did?" "Because I can," I said, "and because I don't want to live with hatred." She took the money, her voice breaking. "Thank you, Tomás. I'm sorry." I nodded, saying nothing more. As I turned away, a wave of liberation washed over me. My stomach pain, for the first time in years, seemed to vanish. My steps felt light on Lisbon's pavement, the afternoon sun casting golden rays around me. I wasn't just free from SolTech, from Ana, from those painful years. I was free from my own old wounds. That evening, in my flat, I pulled out an old notebook. I wrote one line. "Today I forgave. Today I truly lived." I folded the page, tucked it away, and for the first time I slept without needing stomach medication. My soul utterly at peace. The next morning I contacted a nonprofit in Alfama, offering to teach free classes on sustainable technology for disadvantaged youth. I wanted to share not just knowledge, but the lesson of forgiveness, of rising and living true to oneself. As I sent the email I smiled, feeling a new fire within, a purpose no one could take away, a freedom complete and whole from within.